Alright, so today we are talking about the Ace of Pentacles, and today's energy is actually very much into the Ace of Pentacles. So I channeled all of the different sessions that we were about to do in December, and I channeled December and January by playing with my cards and letting Spirit choose which week was going to be which week. And the interesting thing is that today is the Ace of Pentacles, and the past week has been a lot of development into what abundant life, emotions, the idea of being stable and then growing into more things has been happening around me, around others, around my work. And then I started to pick up the pieces and be like, oh God, I'm actually channeling the answers to Tuesday. And it has usually been like this, like Four of Wands 2 weeks ago. I hung up the phone because I had our session, and everything that we had talked about on the phone was beautiful lessons that I gave within Four of Wands. And yeah, let's just dive into it. So the Ace of Pentacles, I'm going to share my screen instead of showing you the card. I'm going to share my screen and show you that the Ace of Pentacles looks like this. It's a hand that comes from Divine with this beautiful coin and offers something. It's an offer, and it leads you into this garden that has boundaries, and it's something that is hidden. You have to cross a door, you have to leave a stage that looks like a very nice stage in order to enter a new space, a new horizon. And when I saw this coin, I always love this card, the offer, the new prosperity, something new happening. And when I saw it, I directly thought about this: the astrological wheel, the zodiac wheel, the charts that we live with. We all have a chart based on when we were born, and then the rising sign, if you can see where I'm hovering, is based on the time you were born and the location. So I started picking up the pieces when I was thinking of doing this Reiki, because this is still energy healing. I'm not only talking. And I was thinking, this right now, this coin looks like an exercise we could do with our zodiac wheel. So we see this pentagram, this 5 arrows, not five, point star. And I was thinking, let's go into a chart and let's think about it. Let's either you have it with you, either you draw it, you just start drawing a circle and separate it into 12 slices. So we have 12 houses in astrology, and each of those spheres means something different. And I want to give Reiki to this today, to the different spheres of your life. And when we draw this together, when we start considering the 12 spheres of our life, we could start writing what we have going on. So we could start, thinking, how do I feel about my first house, which is all about identity and how we are understanding who we are to be, who we present into the world. So the rising is setting up the first house. So for example, in this house, it's Capricorn. So how am I feeling, So if you could take a piece of paper, and if you have time to draw this wheel and just separate in 12 slices, and we don't need to know the signs, we don't need to know which planet is in it. We can do this later when I send you this video. But just to kind of write the first words that come up when I go over each 12 spheres and see how you feel about them. Really being honest, sharing with yourself on your piece of paper how you feel about those fears. And as I go along each house, I'm going to give Reiki to those places. And after this session, you can see how you feel now and what kind of actions you're going to create in order to better each sphere when you have the time. And the fact that this came up as a way to create more abundance is showing us that when we help ourselves, then heavens is going to help you. So we go back to the idea of the divine hand helping you. And I'm going to channel this with universal life force energy and give it to you, with my hands. And then we're going to see what happens to your personal life. So let's go into it. I hope you had time to maybe just write 1, 2, 3, 4, or maybe draw a circle. And now I'm going to explain to you which house means what. And while I do this, I'm going to give Reiki so that you can really open up yourself. Feel the feels, release by writing the words or by acknowledging them. Let's go. So the first house, which is here, you can see the numbers are here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All the numbers are here. So this is an example. This is supposedly Jesus' chart, but first house is about how we understand ourselves to be. So the identity, the personality, how we look to others, what they see first when they meet us, but how we also understand ourselves to be. So there is, identity is very fluid. It changes with time, it changes with your experience. It can also change with the story that you give yourself. Having a self-concept is more interesting than the idea of identity. For me, self-concept, which is something I've been reading about a lot and considering with myself, makes me feel like I do have a say in what the story is. So it's not about people putting labels onto me or my work or profession, but me understanding, again, the inner values as we saw with the Hierophant session that we did in December. What are your values? When we talked about the values, we talked about the north, the south, the west, and the east, where you're going, and what you will be doing whichever way you go, what you will be responding to, what your ethics, your moral is. So, what is your self concept? And if in this you could start writing as I give Reiki and writing how you feel about yourself and how we can maybe lighten it and bring in more abundance, more richness to it. And by richness, I mean a flow of something that feels good, that feels vibrant, that feels real to you, and not especially material prosperity. So we're working with that coin, that wheel, and we're gonna, work with this more and more. So let's go back to this one. I like this one. So how can I make it bigger? View slideshow, yeah. So I'm gonna pause it and let's go. Let's breathe in together and breathe out. Let's slowly clean what we can see, what we can understand within that first house. All the words, all the labels that are coming in from, memories of high school, memories of today at work, the word that someone had about us, the little constrictions, the little things that, they're concepts that others are choosing for us and we don't agree to them. Maybe things from our parents, brothers and sisters. It gets under the skin and it doesn't go away. So let's let it go away. I'm just gonna give you that symbol to cross space and time. Daikomyo, daikomyo, daikomyo. And I'm receiving your energy right here, right now. And we're gonna clear this first house and let in reality your essence come in. I'm going from the center of the wheel. this center here into here. We're coming from the heart into the first house and pushing away what does not fit. And if you can write it down, that's good. Good. Okay, wow, that was quick. I love the fact that, you know, you've been doing Reiki with me for weeks now, so this actually moves quickly. Second house. Second house is the house of possessions, of actual material prosperity. That's money, that's how we make money, finances, all those things. So let's look around you. What do you have around? You actually have a lot. You might think lack of money, lack of time, lack of friends, lack of things. You actually have so much around you. Let's breathe it in and think of all the things that we also want and deserve. And let's clear it. Let's clear all the ideas that we do not have, we lack. It's interesting how lack has two ways of reacting. The shadow of having and therefore not having is either repressed and we think in very little ways and we don't want to buy and we don't want to spend, and that's the spectrum where we are actually being too careful about money. And there's also the other thing where we feel lack and it makes us feel like we never have enough, so we buy, and we never stop buying, and it doesn't stop because we still feel empty. So I want to remove this little needle and just let us see. Yeah, you do have a computer and a phone right now because you're, you know, checking in with me. And you do have the charger that lets this happen, and you have the internet connection. And maybe you have a teacup and you can drink, and you have a roof over your head. We have what is necessary. We have what is vital. And we're going to bring in what we also would like to implement our lives with. I feel it in the heart right now. Let's go up to the throat so we are able to say out loud to ourselves and fill in with your pen, I want this and I want that, based on real desire and not fears. Okay. Yeah. So the third house is all about communication and expression. So exactly as we came into the throat, let's distill it more so that we're actually able to say yes and no and I want and I don't want and I like and I don't like. Let's just do it right now. And we're gonna go that infinity symbol that really wants to, okay, yeah, finding flexibility within our actions, giving us the idea that every day is an opportunity to say the things. It's not just one rule when we have to say it within this time. If you missed that window, guess what? The window is still here. You can still say something, especially when we have phones and we can text people. You still are able and in position of saying what you want to say. Okay. Yeah. Fourth house. The fourth house is here. It's all our home. So as we looked around and looked at our home, let's fill in how we actually connect with our home. When you come back home, are you really feeling it, or are you being oblivious to the fact that this is your shelter, this is your refuge, this is your space for you to feel, you know, privacy, which is very important. Privacy is needed, even though we have social media and stuff. Privacy is a human need. So let's just write down our words and select new intentions for connecting within our home. And if we have people in those spaces who are not being respectful of that, connecting the third house and the fourth house together and leading to communication. Communication about the home, third house to the fourth house. Yeah. All right. Into the fifth house. Fifth house is about love, relationships. I mean, love, romantic love, art, creativity, all the things that we create for ourselves, as opposed to the 11th house, which is things that we create for others, for the community. So this is all about creation. It's also children's. So how do we feel about this, and what intentions do we want to put for 2020 within this house? I'm gonna just fluff it up. Let the real deep desire come up to the surface so that we're not connected to what we see around ourselves, what we've been taught to want, but really connect with our desires. Yeah, it feels good. It's very fluffy. We can see those clouds, the vapor being created and then becoming clouds out of those desires, those sighs, those, ah, I actually want this. I want this kind of love. I want to make this kind of art. I want to say those kind of things. And that's it. Thank you. Into the sixth house. The sixth house is about work. It's about duties. It's about colleagues. It's the workspace, the career. Whereas the 10th house is all about professional and public space, but this is the work, the actual space of work. So I'm getting so much tension right now here. Yes, I know when we open our consciousness, we are left with others who are not especially conscious, and this can create reactions and triggers because they do not know and they are still based into a certain level of not being conscious and not being aware, and it's kind of holding you back. So let's kind of clear it and create a protection around you so that this energy might happen at work, but it does not affect you. That's what I want to create. That's the intention. Yeah, this boundary, a coin again, a coin around you, so that works bring you abundance and money, but does not bring you the disadvantages. Good, really good, so quick. You're also gifted. Seventh house, just here. The seventh house is about relationship with people, not the group, but with one person, one friend, one lover. And it's just you, the rising, the ascendant, versus the other. So in this one, let's just see what happens. It's usually the shadow. It's where your shadow is. What you proclaim yourself to be, your self-concept, is also in a way removing your concept from different things, the opposites, the opposite of the spectrum. So when we look at what our relationship with others is, also the relationship we don't want to have with ourselves. That's when we have conflicts and quiproquos and a lot of chaos. So let's look at it and welcome in the shadow so that we can be at peace with it. I'm going to give you this symbol so that you can work on it a little bit later, because that's that's a big one. We can do personal work together. We can check in. The best is to do my Reiki class, because we go towards, becoming conscious of who you are, and it lets you see who you're not, who you are, but who you don't want to be. Okay, 8th house here. It's all about intimacy, the deepest self, the person that we are when we are in our secret spaces. It's also death. It's also our relationship to money and to all those things that are taboo, that we don't talk about. So we're going to put the connection between the 7 and the 8 right now. We're going to balance those so that we can see them and be conscious of them. But I cannot propose and fasten this work, because this is the most important work. So let's just let it communicate, tell you through your dreams, tell you through your time, through writing and completing this exercise, so that you can work at it together. Yeah. 9th house is about travel, education, higher learning. It's intellectual. It's about philosophy, wisdom, different things like this. So I want you to see if you have all the opportunities that you want, and if you can create more ways, and if this energy can create more ways for you to travel, to learn, to educate yourself, or to become a teacher, or to share your opinions into beautiful, concepts and arguments and creations. Let's just clear it. I'm going to connect it with the crown, because we're at the top of the chart. So let's just see what we can do here. Yeah, and give you the space to really get that in. You deserve to invest in yourself, to grow bigger, to climb that mountain, to invest in you and not especially only others. You deserve to read the books. You deserve to learn that language, to spend that time learning the guitar, for example. Yeah. And all of this, how we climb the mountain of all those investments in ourselves, leads us to the zenith, the highest point in the chart, which is the medium coeli, the MC, the public space, the us, as we are seen by others within our career, our profession, our legacy, our destiny. All of this 10th house is all about the professional career, and not especially the workspace and the colleagues, but us as created beings. So yeah, let's just clear it. I'm doing it with this mouse. It feels like it needs to be done with the mouse and not my hands. So let's clear it and give it space to be in. Great. The 11th house here is all about the community. We talked about the creation for self, the creation for others. Who is the group? Who is the society around you? Which country are you in? What is your social class? Where are you evolving in? Let's just distill the energy again, like when we fluffed the 5th house. I feel like I need to fluff the outside of you. So let's fluff the energies that are pressing themselves around your aura. This is your aura. This is the energy around you, the opportunities, the abundance, but also the pressures, the delays, the demand for attention. So let's just fluff it, give it space for new things to come in. I like that. I had a healer friend, and we talked together and we exchanged healing, and this is exactly what she needed done. She didn't need work done on herself. She'd need work outside of herself. And it's not the people. I'm not doing healing on the people because they did not give me consent. I'm giving you space around you, healing. We send them back with love. We send them back with love. We love you, but this is not for us to be, involving ourselves in. Last and least, the 12th house, which is the subconscious. It's just before the self-concept. It's all about the dreams, the illusions, the spirits, spirituality, the inner child. So this is the healing. So let's just give all of those houses beautiful harmony, and this is going to affect the 12th house. So I'm just collecting all the energy that we distill together, and it naturally affects the 12th house. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope that you continue this exercise. I'm going to send you the email with the video, and you can fill in, do your astrological chart. I put all the links in that email, so you can select based on your time and see which planet is here. If you want to spend more time within a house and let that healing transform you and help you and heal you. I hope you enjoyed this format where I'm sharing a screen with you and where it's kind of teaching you astrology as well. And I look forward to teaching you more things within those sessions. And thank you so much. Have a wonderful week. Take care of yourself. Venus just entered Pisces. It feels like the way we understand our attachments to others was very detached, and in the last 24 hours it became overly needy and overly needing others to see us and give us attention. That's a big shift, and I'm feeling it as well. It's too much. So if you are having irrational thoughts and feels towards others, take time to recenter around you and work on that 12th house. Take time to recenter around you and do this exercise, and let the full week until next week, fill up with you and understand you. Because the pressing need from the energy of this universe is to make you seek others, and in ways it could be unhealthy. So take care of yourself. Thank you so much. I hope I have a voice next week. I really do. Have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.